I have decided something. What have you decided? I have decided
that
when we're born, we have a mommy and daddy, right? And then when we grow up and get married, we have children of our own. And then our children grow up and get married and have children. And so on and so on. So it's very important and very fun also to
Happy Tuesday, friends. This is Miranda, and you're listening to Interesting Sex, a podcast about who, how, where, and why we fuck. Are you feeling lucky today? I'm feeling lucky. You know why I'm feeling lucky? Because I get to talk to Rocky Emerson. She is super hot. This little love bug likes it rough, like seriously rough, hardcore. You got to check her out on Pornhub, Rocky Emerson. Find her on Instagram at Rocky Emerson. She's got OnlyFans.com, Rocky Emerson. Check this girl out. She's super hot, and she's going to tell us a lot about her sex coming up here in just a few seconds. I'm so lucky I got to talk to her. If you haven't subscribed yet or rated me yet, please do so. I'm so happy that you're here listening to this show, and keep telling your friends about what we have here because I love it. I love creating this space for you guys to listen and to share. You guys are so cool. I love you. So with no further ado, let's open our ears, our hearts, and our holes and give a nice, juicy, warm welcome for Rocky Emerson.
Hello?
Hi, Rocky?
Hi. Yeah, it's me.
Hi, Rocky. It's Miranda calling from Interesting Sex.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm drinking coffee.
How do you like your coffee?
What was that? Sorry.
I said, how do you like your coffee?
Black. Always black.
Black like your men, or how do you like your men?
No, I like all the men.
Okay. Coffee black, men, all shades.
Yes.
What a great way to start the chat. So let's just get going and tell me who you are, your name, tell me how you identify as a human and how you identify sexually, and then let's get into all the fun stuff that you do.
So I'm Rocky Emerson. I was born a female. I identify as female.
And sexually.
What else? Oh, sexual orientation or whatever. I like people.
Okay.
I'm bad at like, this is probably something interesting about me. I don't know. I don't really like care. I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah. I don't like have specific words for myself. Like, I'm not like, I'm she or I'm they or like I'm straight or pansexual. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a person and I like people, but like, I don't care if people call me she. I also wouldn't even really care if someone called me a he. I wouldn't be offended. I don't know. That was
You
a
might not
random little rant.
but
Yeah, I might not know that you're referring to me, but like, I'm not one for like labels. And so people are like, oh, so then you're like non-binary pansexual. I'm like, no, because those are still labels.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
You're just down to be human and down to be with humans.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us what you do, because I found you on Instagram because I found you through Will Havoc, who I loved talking to on the show. So I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's super cool. And then I follow him all the time. And then I saw you, and I was like, I want to talk to her.
Yeah, I do porn, and I'm still not used to saying that after like over a year. It's still a weird thing when people are like, what do you do? I'm like, porn. Like, not because it's a bad thing, but just because it's like what I wanted to do forever. That is cool to say that in a sentence.
I know that you were nominated, I think, and for like a newcomer into porn in the porn awards that just happened. So I was like, I don't know if you won or what happened, but that's like a huge deal to get recognized like that when you're so new.
Yeah, it was really cool to be nominated for that. I don't have an agent or a PR person. And so I just figured that like there was no communication between me and AVN and I wasn't worried about it. I was just like, whatever, I'm new. I have tattoos. I don't have any of these people that are connected. Like, I'm not going to be part of this year. And then I got a notification that someone voted for me. That's how I found out. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm in the fan voting? Like, that's really cool. And I even, when I tweeted about it, I was like, listen, I don't even care if I win or not. Like, the fact that I'm on their radar without me, like, purposefully contacting them and like trying to get nominated meant so much, I was happy with that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too. You said you wanted to do it for a long time. How long have you decided you wanted to be in porn?
I don't know if it's like weird to say, but like since I was like a little kid.
Okay. No, it's not weird to say. I want to talk about this stuff because.
Yeah. But like, I wasn't really conscious of what it was that I wanted to do. So when I was a kid, that campaign, like No Little Girl, that pissed me off really bad because I was like, I was a little girl. Oh, there was a campaign that was like, no little girl wants to do porn. No little girl wants to be a stripper. Like, these girls are like victims of their own lives and like we need to save all of them. And it pissed me off because I was like, I wanted to do porn since I was a little kid. Like,
interesting.
There are little girls that want to grow up and be a slut. Yeah. Same with me. Like, my thing was, I remember flipping through the TV late at night and there would be like the Girls Gone Wild pay-per-view commercials.
I've seen the Girls Gone Wild, commercials, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like 1 a.m. and it was like nothing sexual at all. It's just like these hot college girls being like, woo, and like, you don't know what it is. And as a kid, I was like, that is so cool. I want to be those girls. And then like, there was like the MTV Spring Break shows. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be the hot girls in bikinis. And like, I just always wanted to be those girls. I don't know.
Yeah. How did you end up making the transition from, wanting to be in porn and then getting there?
I actually have to give a lot of credit to an ex-partner of mine who I wanted to do it and I was terrified and I was like camming a little bit. I was about to run away and hide. I was about to be like, this is the scariest decision of my life. And I started applying to office jobs and he took my phone away and threw it in the backseat and said, I'm not going to let you die in an office. And he was like, you're a sex performer. Like, you have to do this. And he didn't let me get a regular job. And so then I was like, okay, shit. And then I quit my other job. I worked at a tattoo shop and I quit my other job because he was like, you need to do this. So I quit that. And then, I was just hungry. I had literally nowhere else to go. I had no job, no jobs lined up, nothing. And, I started reaching out to people. I had met a few people in the industry already from other stuff. And I just started hitting them up. And I think when I shot with Owen, that helped me a lot. Owen Gray and I shot a scene together and all his videos are always a huge deal. Everyone loves him. And so it was like all over Pornhub. Then like, a bunch of people learned about me that way. And
then it just started rolling.
Mm-hmm. I just got lucky with the people that I met.
It wasn't a rocky start for Rocky.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I was accepted and guided and helped like from day one. And all the people in the Bay, if any of them are listening to this, like huge shout out to them because like Owen and Mickey and Ruckus and all those people that were like, no one knows who you are and neither do we, but we're going to like do work with you anyways, like they're the reason that I exist. So,
So you started out in San Francisco and now you're in Vegas.
Yeah. And I just go to LA like 3 times a month.
Okay. How often do you do shoots?
It really changes. Like there was, I don't want to exaggerate, but I honestly think that I had 21 days of work in a row, which was insanity. And then there's other months like this month where I've had 1 shoot. Okay. And then I have 1, but I've like been taking a lot of time off. Like I've been traveling a bunch. And so this month I'll have somewhere between 1 and 5 shoots only. And then like other months I'll have like 20.
Yeah.
Like during AVN, I had 2 shoots a day for like 6 days. So that was like 12 just in 1 week. Like it's wild.
Yeah. Do you like to have sex on your days off?
Yes, but I'm actually really weird. Like I am super monogamous minded outside of work. And so like, I don't I don't know how to like say this without sounding like a total lame, but like I don't sleep around outside of work. There's a lot of people shoot like trade where like you just set up a camera and have sex with someone that you want to bang and then sell it. And like people love it because it's super amateur and like real and like it's porn performers, but they just want to have sex with each other. And like, I don't do that. Like, not that I don't like having sex at work, but like, I don't know. There's like one person I want to have sex with for free, and I have sex with them for free as often as possible.
Right. So are you in a relationship now?
Yeah, it's a like newer, like we just started hanging out.
Is it with a male?
Yeah.
Do you make people wait till the third date? What does that look like?
Yeah, I don't like waiting. Like, I've always been like this even before porn, is like, I'm super shy and uncomfortable with you until something from you has been inside me. Like, if you're a girl, fingers, whatever. If you're a dude, like, dick has to be inside me before I'm comfortable around you. It's like how to vet people,
right?
You know? Like, well, now that we've done the most intimate thing, we can have a conversation.
Right.
So yeah.
But also my therapist used to tell me about like the kiss test. Like, it's true. Like, if you don't even like to kiss somebody, then you really shouldn't be in a relationship with you because it's a compatibility test.
Mm-hmm. So. And not to say that like I've had sex with partners that was like just like awkward and weird the first time, but like I still wanted to come back, and then like, you know, a little bit further into the relationship, the sex was amazing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be like mind blowing the first time, but like,
yeah. I have a question though. I've had it. I mean, this has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Enough about you, Rocky. I was with this guy, and he's like the nicest guy ever. And I met him like IRL, like in real life. And, and then we had sex, and it was horrible, and he'd been drinking. So I was like, okay, so I hung out with him a second time because I'm like, maybe it was just the drinking, and it was equally horrible. So now I'm like, I just can't see him again.
Yeah, I think if it's like really, really bad, then that's just over. Like, my thing is like, if it's awkward, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like the person I dated in the Bay before I came here, like the first time we had sex felt great, but it like there was none of that like fire, you know, it just was like physically pleasing. And so then like as time went on, it was physically pleasing and like fulfilling,
like passionate.
Right. So I'm like, like if the passion is missing, I don't care. Obviously we're having sex basically with strangers on the first date. But like, yeah, if it's just bad twice in a row, I'd be like,
good. That's how I felt. But I was like, but if Rocky gives it a couple goes, maybe I should too. But no, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same
Do you
page.
remember the first porn shoot that you did, and like what it was about and how it went and how it felt? And will you tell us about like your first go?
Yeah, my first paid shoot, because it's different, because I did do trade when I was new. But my first paid shoot, I didn't tell anyone I was new. I'm pretty sure by now my scene partner has figured out that it was my first scene. But I've never told him, and we're like homies, and I've never told him. And I had 2 scenes. I was actually supposed to do like 5 scenes that week, but I only did 2. It's a long story. I was just like nervous, and so I was walking around the house. It was a feature shoot, which means that it's like a full-length film, so there's like multiple sex scenes and like a lot of work goes into it. And I was just like walking around the house naked, and I think that was like my defense mechanism, was like, I'm naked and comfortable, you know?
And then what was your scene?
So like we were supposed to just shoot like stills, like we were just doing stills, but we had been in the same house for days and like not allowed to have sex with each other, and we really wanted to bang. So then we just like started having sex instead. We were like, screw your pictures, we're gonna have sex. And then they like set up the camera real quick and recorded it. So that like kind of helped too, that it was just like very impromptu. Like the feature ended up not happening, which I'm not talking shit. That's just what happened. And so like none of the scenes really had a storyline. We didn't really do much storyline. It was very much so just like cool outfits and sex. Sorry, it's not that exciting.
It's okay. I like cool outfits and sex. I'm down.
But I did break my arms directly after that shoot, and it was so terrible.
Did you say arms?
Both of them. Yeah, I fell roller skating with the director. We came back from the feature shoot. It was a really long weekend. I was exhausted. I had this weird existential dread happening. I don't know. And he was like, let's go roller skating and cheer you up. And so And then he felt really bad because he was like, I was just trying to cheer you up. And then you broke both of your arms.
Yeah. You're like, and now you have to hire me once I'm better all the time to make up for all this lost time that I could have been filming.
Yeah, so I filmed my very first paid porn and was like ready to join the industry, and then I was knocked out of work for 8 weeks.
But the good thing is that once you're out of those casts, your arms are super lean.
Yeah.
Like, my arms have never looked thinner.
How good I look.
So what kind of porn do you normally get cast in, or do you do?
I do all sorts of porn. I do like femdom stuff, which I never thought would happen. I didn't think I was dominant at all. And then I got hired and the dude was like, kick me in the balls. And I was like, this is fun. So I do that. And then I do like regular pretty porn. Like I do a lot of glam porn for one of my friends, and that's nice. I like doing that. But my favorite and what I really thought the way that my career would go is like really hardcore, like me getting destroyed porn. Like I do a lot of normal bondage porn too, like kink.com and insects and stuff like that.
Did you say insects? Mm-hmm. I don't know this. Do you have sex with insects, or it's just the name?
No.
Oh, or it's like incest?
No, it's INSEX. It's just the name of the company.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
It's like bondage.
I was like, I just couldn't like
porn.
imagine like a roach climbing on top of you and having sex with you.
That does exist. There's porn that I saw, and it's like a sea monster, like fucking girls that are tied up in his basement, and I really want to work for them. Like, it's just a dude in a sea monster outfit, and he has sex with them, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah. I have an episode you can listen to all about monster porn, but most of it's because of Japan. It all started. Anyway. Yeah, because they can't have sex like penis and vagina, but they can have tentacles.
I have a tentacle fetish.
Okay.
I do.
Tell me about it.
I didn't know that I did here. So I was at Dave & Buster's. I go to Dave & Buster's a lot. Like, I don't know, just adults playing video games and then winning prizes is just so much fun.
Yeah.
So I was at Dave & Buster's and I found this tentacle finger attachment, and I thought it was hilarious, and I didn't have a lot of tickets, so it's like really all I could win. And so I got it and I took it. I got 2 of them. I brought it home, and then I like started dating this dude. I brought him one of them, and I was like, I got you a present. And he was like hitting me with it. And I was like, I strangely enjoyed it. I had no idea that I had like a fetish for it. I was like, I kind of strangely enjoyed this. This is weird. And then for my birthday, that same person bought me a tentacle dildo from Bad Dragon.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, I was so excited. I was like, yes, put your tentacle inside of me. Oh my God. I don't know.
Who would have thought?
It was just a stupid toy at Dave & Buster's. And then he started beating me with it. And I mean that in like the most nicest way. He was not abusive, but he was beating me with the tentacle. And I was like, I wish you could put this inside me, but I don't think it's safe. It's not meant to go inside people. And he got me one that goes inside people.
How exciting. Congratulations. You said that you you didn't say you like it. You said you imagined yourself in porn where you're getting like beaten up pretty bad, like pretty intense. Is that what you like regularly as well?
Yes. Porn has actually lowered my ability to like get the shit beat out of me because I'm not allowed to have bruises. But yeah, so since I was 18, which is like years before I started doing porn, I discovered that like I'm a super heavy, submissive bottom that like really likes impact play and like really likes getting fucked up. And I luckily, like, the first person I met in the kink scene was like a really, really responsible top, and he taught me like safety, and he taught me all this stuff and like walked me through it, and we'd play really hard, and like my whole body would be purple when we were done with bruises, and like I don't know why. It was just like very fulfilling and enjoyable to me. And so I've been doing that as a lifestyler forever. And then when I started doing porn, I could still do it sometimes, and I could do it for shoots because like I wasn't busy enough to worry about having bruises and needing time to heal. And now I can't have bruises, which is fine because it's actually made me expand my interests. And so like instead of getting flogged and spanked and whipped a bunch on my ass, like I learned about, I don't know how to say the word, foot caning. There's like a Japanese term for it or something.
I did just hear about this.
Or whatever. It's my favorite. It is my new favorite because, for one, it's not bruising me, and two, it's one of the few things in the kink world that will actually break me enough to make me cry, and I love crying. Like, it's
So I want you to explain what it is for the listeners.
Foot caning. So they have a stick of, different densities and different like flexibilities. Like yesterday I actually did it, and he started with like a thick solid one and then went to like a thin flexible one, and it just changes the feeling of the impact basically. But they're just hitting the bottom of your feet with sticks, and it sounds not that intense, but like ask someone to hit you on the bottom of your foot with a stick.
Yeah, no, it sounds really intense, because how do you even walk the next day?
I love the feeling of walking like right after, when my feet are sore and on fire and like swollen. Like I want to walk on them, but I'm also like insane. So there's that.
Yeah, because it's like if I wear heels for a night and then you take your heels off and the bottom of your feet feels like it's on fire, yeah. I'm all like, really upset and sad and don't want to be in pain anymore. So you probably wear heels all the time, just hoping that your feet hurt.
That's very true. Yeah. So it's like that. So I do foot caning a lot. I do rope more often now. Rope doesn't tend to mark me. I really like throwing up, but no one can get me to do it.
Oh, what do you
Ryan
mean?
Gosling. Like,
I'm sorry, you said throwing up and then Ryan Gosling.
Brian Gosling from Hookup Hot Shot is the only person that's gotten me to puke. And like, even then I'll have drank 10 bottles of water and I'll be feeling like I'm puking, and like 2 ounces of liquid come out, and I just want to puke all over somebody, and I can't do it. I don't know. So I found new things that are like...
That is a new thing. Sorry, I'm just like... So, okay.
You're like, what?
No, I love that.
But I have to find new ways to like hurt and be at the mercy of somebody else.
Can you make yourself throw up? Or that's not fun. You want somebody else to make you throw up.
Yeah, I just want someone to make me throw up, or like getting slapped in the face is cool. I got hit in the head so hard. Well, not in the head, but like in the face so hard by my friend that I almost fainted, and it was awesome.
So you're really just like pushing yourself.
I do. And like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's like a lot of people live their entire lives not knowing what like pain feels like, not knowing what it's like to literally fear for your own life. Like, I don't know. I think that human bodies are weird, and I think it's like fun to kind of figure out how they work more than just day to day. Like for Christmas, my friend drowned me. One of my friends flew to Vegas. Neither of us had anything to do on Christmas. And so he flew to Vegas and tied me up and drowned me in a tub. And he put black bath bombs in it. So there was like black sparkly water, and he put candles and like little like strip lights. And it was like really sweet, and rose petals everywhere. And then he drowned me, and it was awesome. And I have a really big fear of water bondage, and like, fear doesn't stop me. Like, fear just means that I have to find someone I trust enough to go through with it. And so he did it, and he was like dunking me, and I was like legit like swallowing and breathing water and like actually drowning, safely enough that I wasn't going to die. And then he did it one more time, and he lifted me up, and he knew I was done before I knew I was done. Cause I was like, I guess he could do it one more time. I don't know. Like I could totally survive being like held under one more time, but he waited 10 seconds. And in those 10 seconds, my brain was like, you're going to die. And I just started bawling, and he just hugged me, and I was just sitting in the tub, and he was just hugging me and petting my hair and telling me that I was okay. And I was just bawling, and it was like amazing, like best Christmas ever.
Has he done that to people before, that you felt safe doing it with him?
Yeah, he's done it before, and he's a good friend of mine.
Has he accidentally killed anybody?
No. So he had like safe scissors right there. We talked about the fact that he's trained in CPR. We talked about the fact that he's done that a million times. We spent like 4 days prior to that with each other, doing other rope and bondage stuff, and like really getting to know each other. And then leading up to the drowning, I was in the tub, not tied, practicing being drowned. And then we slowly added rope. Like there was a lot of steps to get to the point where I was fully restrained and held under and actually breathing in a tiny bit of water, to the point where like he was able to communicate with me through the black murky water with me completely submerged. Like we had the ability of how he was holding me and how I was moving for him to know like when I was uncomfortable versus when I needed to come out, cause like being uncomfortable is fine, but like needing to come out is what I needed him to know. And so we spent an hour we spent 4 days, but like we spent at least an hour before I actually got drowned of me in the tub.
Wow. So I think this is an interesting example of how kink and sex can be completely separate things. Because that's something that I didn't even really realize before I started this, that they can just be totally different. Like kink is just exploring your boundaries subconsciously and through what is seeming like pushing levels and through sexuality. It doesn't mean sexually.
It can be sexual. Like I become very bonded to people that I trust, like me and he's Mr. Kilt You, if anyone cares who drowned me.
Yeah, I care. I might be giving him a phone call.
I think he's like MKY photo, Mr. Kilt You photo. Yeah, MKY photo. He and I like bonded and like have a much closer relationship now, but it wasn't sexual. Like it was just, someone told me I'm an intimacy junkie and I believe them because they were like, I mean, I like the pain and I like all that stuff too, but like, I like getting cum on me and inside of me and like pee and like having someone make me puke and like having someone hurt me and like all these things are not because like I disrespect myself or like I just am so messed up that I need to feel pain or any of that stuff. It's like, it's a certain type of intimacy that cannot be accomplished any other way. And it's cool. And it's like not sexual, but like if it turns sexual, then it's like really intense.
It's like even better.
Yeah. Like my hookup hotshot scene is like, I'm literally like just being destroyed is a bad word because people will take that the wrong way. But like this dude is doing anything and everything that he wants to me while also making sure that I'm safe and like caring about me. Like I have so much respect for Ryan Gosling. Like there was one point where I like couldn't breathe. I was like, so like just from everything we were doing, I just like couldn't breathe. I was like upside down getting face fucked and there was like piss and boogers coming out of my nose and like, cause he was throat fucking me while peeing down my throat and I couldn't breathe. And he sat me up and I'm so glad he left it in the video. He sat me up and was like, breathe, baby girl. And I was like trying to clear my nose. And he was like, do you need a tissue? And I was like, no, daddy, I'm good. And he was like, okay, good. And he like kissed me on the forehead and he was like, you okay? And I was like, yeah. And he threw me back down and kept going because like he took a moment to care for me and then was like, but I know what you like. And so we're going to keep going. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
It's like your happy place though. Like, you think it's something about like completely not being in control of these scenarios that makes you feel like free?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, is I'm 100% in control, but it's like the illusion. Well,
because part of the joy is trying to see how far you can let yourself go.
Yeah. But like at any point, if I told whoever like no, we'd be done. And that's why I'm able to push myself as far as I do, is because I know for a fact that as soon as I'm like, it's over. Like yesterday I did a shock collar thing and the scene is always the shock collar with a padlock on it. And I told him, I was like, I'm not doing the padlock. And he was like, well, that's what the scene is. And I was like, I will not be able to do this scene if you put a padlock on that collar. And he was like, okay. And just, and so it's like, no one saw that part of it, but I was 100% in control of like what actually was going to happen, and it was just a mental thing because I don't like electricity and I didn't want electricity padlocked onto my neck. And so I was like, I want to know that if this gets too bad, I have the right to pull it off immediately. And he was like, well, please don't. And I was like, I'm not going to. I just mentally, like, there's safeguards that we're given to allow us to go as far as we do.
Yeah.
And if that padlock was on it, I would have made it 2 shocks and been like, take it off. But because it wasn't on there, I went much further.
What is getting shocked in the neck like?
It's the worst. It was ugh.
So electric play is like your least favorite type? Yes
and no. I like mentally, electricity freaks me out Like every time someone says they're going to electrocute me, I'm like, no. And then they do it and I'm like, that was awesome.
I love that you say every time someone tells me they're going to electrocute me.
I know. My life is
No one
weird.
has ever told me that. No, my life is weird too. It's just a different kind of weird.
Yeah. I love that. I said that the other day to someone. They were like, being in porn must give dating challenges for you. And I was like, it just gives me different challenges than other people. Everyone has the hardest time in the world finding the person they're supposed to be with.
Right.
I was like, my reasons for not finding that person are just different than yours. And they were like, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah. Like a lawyer who always is in court is going to have a hard time finding somebody because they're never home, and then they're always stressed out. And like, I'm going to have a hard time finding someone because like people aren't all sexually liberated. And I was like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's cool. My life is weird, but so is everyone else's. Yeah. I like that.
A lot of I've noticed on your Instagram, like your story, you have to say things like, I don't have sex with my fans. Stop asking me.
Over and over and over.
You just get like, because when I messaged you, I was like, she's never going to even see this message. She probably gets messaged so much. So I had messaged Will and I was like, can you please just message her and let her know that I messaged her? So maybe she'll be on my show. And so I was like, you're probably overwhelmed all the time with people just like, and are people ever mean to you when they message you? Like saying like you're a horrible person or sex is bad and you're disgusting? Or is it all just people who want to be with you? Or what's that like?
It's mainly like just people that are creepy and don't understand boundaries. And then, but also like I have nothing morally against like people having sex with fans at all. Like go for it. Get your money. Do whatever you want to do. I just don't do it. So I just want to say that so people aren't like, oh my God.
Right. Well, yeah, but you've also already said that you're very monogamous outside of shooting. So that just wouldn't even turn you on. Because even if people are making money, they usually tend to make choices, I think, that are at least turning them on. If that's their work, they want to be enjoying it as well.
Like I want to only put out products that are genuine and, like I have to act sometimes and maybe I'm a little bit louder. I change the position so the camera can see what's happening. But like the crescendos of my enjoyment aren't faked. Like if I get louder or like more into it or get like my crazy, like this is awesome sex eyes, like I'm actually enjoying it. And I've done one private and that person that I saw and everything was great and I loved it and they're a sweetheart. And that is like, there was nothing wrong with that. Like nothing happened there where I was like not enjoying it or felt uncomfortable or any of that stuff. But after that, I was like, yeah, that was great. And it's not for me. And I'm really glad that person was amazing and also super handsome, which was a huge bonus. I was like, I would have sex with you for free. I really would. When you showed up, I was like, damn. But that helped. And then that made me realize that like, that wouldn't always be the case.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it
Quit
was
while
like,
you're ahead. Yeah.
Right. It was such a good experience that I was like, I'm not going to be dumb and think that it'll be like this every time.
Yeah.
And so I just closed it off and I just put something in my coffee. I have friends that do it and I tell them all the time, I'm like, I have the utmost respect for you because I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just not me. I'm also really shy and not good at like being in charge of the situation. And porn helps a lot because there's a director that's like, go have sex now, Right. And it takes the responsibility away from me. And then when fans are like, I want to give you money to have sex with me, I'm like, I just don't have whatever it takes to do that.
A real quick break right here. Oh, yeah. I found this amazing book that I have to plug. It's called While You Are Pooping. It's an inappropriate children's book for adults. Everyone is naked in the pictures. It has drawings of like sex, and every page is something that happens in the world while you were on the pooper. It is really funny. It makes a great gift or you can just put it in your own guest bathroom for when you have friends over. Totally recommend it. You can find it on InterestingSexPodcast.com. You can find it on Amazon. Let's support the small artists that are weird out there, because we know we're weird, which is why we're listening to this podcast. Love you, bitches. Back to the show. So I've seen a picture of you with cum in your eye, and you were also talking about getting like stuff all over your face and eyes and stuff. And I want to know what cum in your eye feels like.
It hurts so bad.
Because you like just keep it there.
Yeah, I'm just like cum in my eyeballs. It hurts really bad, and it burns, and it like makes your eyeballs swell. And I'm always like, my eyeballs are pregnant. Like it feels like the cum is like going inside your eyeball.
Oh God.
And it hurts. And it was funny. One of my friends texted me the other day and was like, I want to come in your eyes, but I don't want to hurt you or something like that. And I was like, no, that's the point. And they were like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, no, I want it to hurt. It started before porn. I didn't know that it was weird. I didn't know the girls hated it. I thought that especially porn girls loved it. And porn actually is what made me realize that it's not normal. Because I would be on set and be like, come all over my face. And then they would just like only come in my mouth. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I would try to put my head under their dick, and the guys would like think that they were helping me. They're like, oh, the new girl doesn't know how to line up the cum shot. And so they'd move my mouth under where the cum was going to come out. And right. I was like, no, I wanted it. And they were like, oh, we were trying to like protect your eyeballs. And I was like, no, definitely get it in my eyes. And everyone on set turned around. I don't even remember where I was, but everyone just turned around and was like, what? And I was just like so innocent. I was like, that's not normal.
Okay. I just kind of do want to ask you about your upbringing a little bit. I know like it's probably annoying and it's okay to like whatever you like, but I am curious like how you kind of grew up, or like, did you have a pretty normal childhood and everything, and parents like? Yeah.
I mean, everything was fine growing up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Were your parents, like sexually like open? Like, how was that like growing up? Like with you, were you encouraged? Like, yeah. What was that like?
I have nothing bad to say about my parents, but I definitely didn't learn anything about sex from them. Like my mom didn't let me wear makeup. She like refused to teach me how to shave. I had to like beg and like cry and get teased until she like taught me how to shave. And then like, my dad's just quiet. I don't know. So like he didn't say anything. And then like literally when I started my period, the only reason I knew what it was is that stupid video you watch in 5th grade. So I like sort of knew what was happening, and I had no idea how to deal with it. And I had to like find one of my friends. I remember I was in the PE locker room and like I had to tell her, and she like handed me a tampon, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. And she was like, fuck. Like she went in and like found me a pad and like showed me how to use it, you know? And like, I learned everything that I knew from like my friends. And like, that's okay. I mean, whatever. My parents are weird about sex, but like, I don't think my dad really necessarily would like, I think it would probably weird him out, but like, I don't think he would like really like judge me as a person for the decisions I make as an adult. I honestly think that he's just like shy and quiet. And so like, we just never talked about it.
Does he know what you do?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if my dad knows. I know that he called me one day and was like, hey, I don't really know what you're doing, because I'm like always like, whatever the fake story is.
No, I don't know whatever the fake story is.
Just like, you know, when he's like, what'd you do today? And I'm like, well, you know, just ate lunch. I'm like, I fucked 5 people in front of a camera, but I ate lunch, Dad. You know? Like,
okay.
But he was like, I don't really know like what you're up to or how you're doing so well, and we don't have to talk about it, which kind of clued me into maybe he knows.
Okay.
Right. And if he watches porn at all, I was on the front page of Pornhub for like 3 months straight.
Congratulations.
And everyone, it was a long time ago. That's when everyone found out. was when my video was on the front page. It was like last year. And so I'm like, if he goes on Pornhub ever, he would have seen that, you know, unless he didn't look at porn for 3 months straight.
Who knows? Who knows with dads?
Yeah, I don't know. So like, but then he was just like, but I see that you're like traveling and really happy and like you have a bunch of friends and like you're doing really well financially and like, and he was like, and I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. And I was like, oh my God, like that is so cool. Like my dad doesn't hand out compliments, not because he's a mean person, but he hands out compliments when you deserve them, you know? And like, he called me and said, I don't know what you're doing for work, but I'm proud of you. And I was like, I feel like that was his weird way of being like,
I love you.
Let's never talk. Yeah. Let's never talk about it ever again.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It was really cool. And my mom did not do that.
Right.
My mom knows for sure.
Yeah. Do you still like spend holidays? I mean, you didn't spend Christmas with them. Do you still see them much or?
No. My dad and I talk on the phone constantly. My dad and I've always been a daddy's girl. My mom, I don't know. It's weird. She like disowned me, but then didn't. Like we still talk on the phone and she's trying, you know, and I appreciate that. Like I have nothing bad to say about it. Like I talked to my friend about it and they were like, what if you had a kid and you were sexually repressed your entire life and then your kid started doing porn? Like what if you were her? And I was like, okay, I get it. Like it was just a giant shock to her system and she like definitely overreacted and freaked out.
And you don't know what her growing up was like and, you know, like the fight that the women before us and even our grandparents did. Like I was like, even this podcast, I'm like, my grandmother isn't alive. She died when I was like, you know, 7. I was like, I sometimes like, she would probably hate what I'm doing, you know, but it's also, they didn't have a language or understanding of what it is that like we're up to because that wasn't a part of their life and they didn't even have that available to them, you know. Yeah. They like did those kind of fights to get us where we are now, but that doesn't mean they can understand what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and she's like not even from America. So it's like, I have really no idea what her, you know, I can't even imagine.
So what are you? What are your beautiful roots from?
I'm Serbian and a whole bunch of white stuff mixed together.
Cool. I'm half Lebanese and a whole bunch of white stuff.
A whole bunch of white stuff.
Yeah. And my mom from Lebanon is really close to Serbia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like they're like in the mountain part or whatever.
So you probably know all the strange food I grew up with that nobody knows about.
Maybe.
I'm always like, it's kind of like Greek food, except it's meat instead of rice and paprika instead of lemon. And that's Serbian food.
If you had, I want to know, if you had a dick, what kind of dick would you have?
Ooh. I feel like, shout out to Owen Gray. I would want Owen Gray's dick. It's just perfect.
I don't know Owen Gray.
It's very large, which I think would be the only downside is like if I liked a girl with a small mouth like me and then I wanted to marry her, like I would never get my dick down her mouth. But it's like large and pretty. It's just pretty, you know, and it's like uncircumcised, but it's so big that like it's hard to even tell that it's not circumcised, which is interesting, I think. And he's got a cool little piercing in it. It's just pretty. It's pretty dick.
It's big, pretty, and pierced.
Yeah.
Your dick would be big, pretty, and pierced. I could see that. I was wondering that. I was like, what kind of question do I want to ask her? And I'm like, that's the one I want to ask her. So you have a ton of tattoos. Do you remember what your first one was? Oh, and that's also like, I wonder how your parents also reacted to your tattoos. Like, yeah.
They were pissed.
Yeah. So how old were you got your tattoo and what was your first tattoo and why did you get it?
My first tattoo was 3 dots on my foot because I was a dumb teenager in a hotel room on a theater trip for high school. And my mom caught me immediately and was like, what's that? I wore socks around the house like every day for like a year. And then finally she was like, why do you always have socks on? What's going on? Take off your socks. And I was like, there's a tattoo on my foot. And she's like, yeah, I know when you did it too. I was there. She was there. She was the, what's it called? Chaperone.
Yeah.
For that trip. And she's like, yeah, I know you all tattooed each other and you've been trying to hide it from me. Like, you're dumb.
She let you wear socks for a whole year. That's your punishment.
Yeah, just to see how long I would lie to her. Yeah.
But it's not lying.
I know, right? I was like, I'm just wearing socks. I'm just omitting information. So yeah, I got that. And then I actually got someone's initials on the inside of my ring finger when I was like 16, because when you're 16, you're definitely going to marry the dude.
Yeah.
And it's still there. And I ran into him after years. I ran into him and I was like, let me see the inside of your left hand. And mine is gone. And I was like, what the hell? And he was like, yours fell out. Like, mine fell out immediately. It didn't heal. Like, he has like some black marks, but like you can't see my initials. Mine is just straight up like TME on the inside of my finger. Just been there for years.
Is he, how is he doing now?
I have no idea.
Oh, you said you ran into him, so.
Oh, I ran into him, a few years after the tattoo, but it's been a while.
Right.
But yeah, it was just funny. I was like, it wasn't even like weird seeing him, and all I wanted to know was like, did your tattoo go away? Cause mine didn't, and his went away. And I was like, oh, you lucky bitch. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah. But it's good to remember your roots. That's the thing that I like about tattoos. It's like, sometimes like you might move past them or it might not be who you are anymore. And people are like, why would you want that? But like every time I look at any of mine, it's like a reminder of a place that I was in my life when I made that choice. And I love it for that reason as well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier kicking someone in the balls.
Yes, I did.
How hard did you kick them the first time? The first time you ever got to kick someone in the balls?
Scared.
Yeah.
It's taken a few months, and now I'm just like, bam, and I just go for it. But
do you like playing the dom role when you're in porn?
Yeah, it's really hard for me. Like, it's not my natural go-to, so I have to like kind of warm up. Like the first 5 minutes of the scene are usually really, really awkward. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. I enjoy this. And then I get super into it. And then it goes, well, where is my shoe?
But it's also, I guess, good to remember, like, when you're getting like cum in your eye or peed on and pain, like people are worried that you're not liking it, but you like it.
Yeah. And that helps too, is like somebody I think actually used that example for me. I was like, but I don't want to hurt you. And they were like, says the girl who like does the most extreme things. Like,
yeah.
We enjoy it.
Are you known in the community that you're in right now for being super extreme, or are you not that? Okay. And not a lot of people, and like my scenes aren't even as hardcore as what I used to do in personal life. And I know that I'm not saying that other girls aren't super hardcore too, but like not everyone in porn is like, yes, fuck me up. Like there's a lot of girls that like, which is totally fine, want to have like pretty normal sex and like stay looking good the whole time. And it's not about their looks, but like, if that gives you an idea of like the type of sex, like their makeup won't run from it, like their hair will stay nice, whatever. And like they make beautiful porn, and I'm just incapable of doing that. Like I did a blowjob scene the other day with my friend, and he was like, you're going to be my girlfriend. Like we're going to love each other, blah, blah, blah. This is the whole story. And I do love him. So it was easy. But it was like POV, and I'm like giving him a blowjob, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to go to brunch with you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like trying, because for me, like blowjob means like gag until you cry, like maybe puke, get spit everywhere. Yeah.
And this one was like a pretty romantic,
like he literally mentioned
blowjob.
Brunch in the shoot.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. The whole thing was like, I wanted to go to brunch and he didn't want to get out of bed. So I like crawled into bed and was like, I know how to wake you up, and like give him a blowjob. And then he was like telling me like while I was blowing him, like, you can pick where we're going to go to breakfast. This is so good. It was great.
That's hilarious.
I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it really bad. And then he like comes and he was like, oh, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. And then it ends. It's really cute. So
You're like, that is so different than a normal day's work for me.
Yeah.
You're like, and I
like, it was fun because then at the end, I was like, I got one little drop of drool on the floor. And I was like, dang it. Because I told my friends, I was like, I want to do, like, it's going to be really pretty. I'm going to do pretty normal girl porn. I'm going to do it. And then they went to clean up. And the PA was like, dang it, there's cum. I'm not wiping up your cum. Like, he was their friend. So they were just joking around. He's like, I'm not wiping up your cum. Like, you missed her face. You clean it, blah, blah, blah. And I walk over and I was like, oh, that's spit. I drooled. And like, someone was like, it's okay, Rocky. Like, that's the least amount of drool I've ever seen you do. Like, it was only one drop. Congratulations.
Wow. Who knows? This could be a whole new fetish for you.
I know.
Clean blowjobs.
Clean.
Can you please tell me, like, when did you realize that you liked it rough and different? Or was it always like that from the very first time?
Yeah, it's always been like that. I literally thought, I thought that my sex life and everything I did was normal until I started doing porn, because I've always just been surrounded. I've been very lucky. I didn't have to look for the things that I enjoyed. I would just stumble into them and be surrounded by those people.
But do you wonder if maybe you wouldn't have enjoyed those things if you didn't stumble on them first and that wasn't your introduction?
No, because the extreme BDSM stuff, I was at a party and I took a wrong turn into the bathroom and I ended up. Yeah, exactly. And I found a dungeon and I was just like, oh, that's awesome. And I was super excited. And my friend walks over and he was like, hey, oh no, it wasn't my friend. It was the dude who owned the house. And he was like, you went the wrong way. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, do you like all this stuff? And I was like, I don't know, but it's pretty. And he was like, you've been drinking. But if you want to come back tomorrow, I'll show you stuff. And I was like, okay. And so I came back obviously the next day and I absolutely loved it. And I had other friends there with me that walked into the room that were like, oh, that's weird, and I had other friends that came back and got spanked twice and they were like, I don't like this. And so I don't think it was peer pressure, because no one told me to like it. No one told me to try it. I would literally stumble into the situation and be like, this is cool.
And that's something that's so cool too about kink community. It's they're like, well, you've been drinking, so we're not going to introduce you to this tonight. We want you to be sober and know what you're choosing and aware of what you like and don't like, which is so rad.
Actual kink people are way safer than anyone else on the planet. If I had a child, I would ask somebody I know in the kink community to watch them before a random babysitter. Yeah. Because they understand the word no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If my kid was like, don't hug me, one of my kink friends would be like, okay. And the babysitter would be like, why not? And force them. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people who are dirtbags who hide under this daddy dom bullshit persona. And then they abuse women, and that's not cool. And I just have to say that because I was really lucky. Everyone that I met was truly caring for me and guiding and taught me about consent and taught me about negotiations before scenes and aftercare and all the stuff that's important to be safe. But I've met other girls that are I met a dude and he had leather straps and I told him I was curious and then he tied me down and didn't stop when I said no. And that was their introduction. You know what I mean? So just because they call themselves a kinkster doesn't mean that they're immediately on the safe, awesome list of people, which sucks.
Yeah. My introduction to it was quite confusing, I have to say, which is one of the reasons why I have this entire podcast at this point. But it's still confusing for me, figuring it out where I want to exist within it and what's good or not good for me emotionally and stuff. But yeah, he would, I could always say no, but I thought the point was me going past where I was comfortable to make him happy. But I also really liked that, but then it was a mess for me emotionally. But now I'm wondering, it's kind of more talking to you. It's well, maybe a lot of it is not going past whatever point you want to make them happy, but to make yourself happy and to see what you can learn through it.
Yeah. Some of my favorite tops that I've played with, my friend Eric in the Bay Area, there was one night and we were playing really hard and he's an older gentleman and he's been doing this his entire life, decades of topping girls. And he was like, in all my years, you're one of the heaviest bottoms I've ever played with. Like, you're intense. And I was like, yeah, for sure. That makes me feel good. And he was like, but he's like, I'm never going to let you leave my house feeling satisfied, feeling like we went as far as you needed to go. He's like, because tomorrow you're going to drop and tomorrow you're going to be sad if I take you that far. He's like, I will always leave you wanting more. And that was really interesting to me because no one had ever said that before. And he like, literally, he was like, you're such a heavy bottom that if I take you where you think you need to go, you'll hate me by the end of it. He's like, I need to allow you to like get to the point where you're like sweating and euphoric and you want more because it's so good. And as soon as you're like, it's so good, I want more. He's like, I'm going to stop.
But why? Why do you think he wants you? Why do you think you'd be so down if you got what you wanted?
It's, well,
because it's so degrading and so bad.
No, that's probably the wrong word, but like sub-drop. So I hit a euphoric point and I'm like, this is awesome. Let's do it for 3 more hours, you know? And he's like, no, you hit the euphoric point. I'm going to start cool down. I'm going to start bringing you back down to earth, because if I drain all the happy chemicals in your brain in a few hours or next morning, like, you're going to be miserable. And it could literally be a girl getting spanked with a hand can still get sub-drop. Like, it doesn't matter the intensity of the physical part of it. It's the intensity of the mental part of it, where like most submissive bottom, whatever, anyone who's like on the bottom, we hit a euphoric point and we think that means do more, but like, it's irresponsible to go past a certain point. And I'll want to please them and I'll want to keep going and I'll want to prove that I'm tough and I'll want to do all this stuff. But it literally drains the happy chemicals out of your brain and you can be like suicidal the next day if you go too far.
Okay. That makes so much sense. But that's also like, because when I'm talking to a lot of people, I'm trying to figure out also, because I'm wondering why I like being submissive too. Sometimes me talking to people, I'm like, but why do you like it? Because I'm like, why do I like this? They're actually, your chemicals are releasing that makes you feel really good. It's not just physical, it's chemical.
Right. I don't know. I found it really interesting because I was like, why does everyone always leave me like wanting more? Like, I want more. I wasn't done yet, you know? And Eric was like, exactly. That's when we stop, is when you're not done yet. And I was like, huh? And he was like, I care about you. I don't want you to hate me. He's like, I know that you won't. And I know that in the moment it'll be satisfying and you'll get to this like crazy euphoric state that like you barely can even handle. And he's like, but tomorrow I don't want you to kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's just like, it's completely chemical, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me. It literally just means that like I've depleted my brain of what it needs.
It's like doing ecstasy or Molly or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exactly like that.
All your
like, I never want to
let go, and then they have to rebuild. And then also too, like, once you take yourself to a certain point, you kind of like, I guess it could also be like doing heroin or something. Like, you need to keep going further and further, hoping to pass that point and find that crazy high again. So if somebody takes you too far, they might feel bad that now you're always going to be, what if he was so good that you could never find somebody to top that feeling he gave you? Now you're fucked forever. Yeah. And not in a good kind of fucked.
Yeah. So I found that really, just really interesting. I like talking with people about stuff and like playing with a bunch of different people for that reason, because it's just like, I'm constantly like learning. Like, I don't think I'm like the master of this at all. I just know what my experiences have been and like the questions I've asked other people. Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have to give to people who are maybe like interested in being more, receiving more pain, but I don't know, don't really know how to ask for it or what to expect? Like, what would you tell
Go to classes.
Oh, take classes.
Go to classes. I am a huge supporter of kink classes. They're usually at LGBT centers. Like, you can look online. Like, in San Francisco, there's a bunch of places that host classes. Like, Kinky Salon has classes, and I think Kinky Salon is in a bunch of cities, so that's a good place to start. I would just be careful on FetLife because there's a lot of predators on there. There's a lot of great people on there too, but there's a lot of predators, and I wouldn't meet people blindly off FetLife. But like, if you go to classes and you find people that you seem comfortable around, and like, don't be afraid to vet people. Like, I've had people tease me. Like after the first person I played with, I wanted to find more people. I moved and I reached out to him, and he recommended some of his friends in the city I was in. And the guy teased me. We're still friends to this day. He teased me and he was like, have I been vetted? Are we allowed to go get dinner now? And I was like, yes, you have. And he was like, good. He's like, I actually want to be your friend because you took the time to make sure I was safe. He's like, I like hanging out with people that care about safety. He's like, I know I teased you about it, but the fact that you vetted me makes me more inclined to be your friend as well. Once you find safe people that care about safety and consent, like you'll just continue to find more because we take care of each other and we're like, this person's safe, hang out with this person, you know, like, like none of us are greedy with our friendship.
Are you able to come out of vanilla sex, or do you always need some pain? I
love vanilla sex.
Okay.
I just want to have sex and missionary and hug you.
Right. That's I was not expecting that answer.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like I get annoyed sometimes in like real life relationships or like dating. Like when I was just like trying to date for a while and having a difficult time finding people I liked. Yeah, so I was like getting annoyed because everyone tries to like mimic what they see me do on the internet. And I'm like, I like that, but like I don't need it all the time. It's more that like it's easier for me to perform crazy stuff, which is why that's what I usually do. Like it's really hard for me to like stay pretty on camera. I don't know why. I just like the cameras like put this crazy. I do it in real life too, but like when the camera's on, I'm like, I have to be wild.
I know. I wonder if it's too vulnerable for you just to feel like
probably
like calm and connected and in love or something. Might be almost too scary to show.
Well, on camera, it's hard.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But like in real life, I like it all like wild stuff will be happening or whatever. And I'll just be like, wait, like, just come here. And I'll just like hug them and be like, shh, just move really slow.
Yeah.
And like, I'll come really hard from like a dude just hugging me and like barely like moving in and out. I'll just be like, oh my God, it's so good. Cause it never happens. Also, you can't do that on a professional set. Like, I don't want to like give away secrets, make porn not fun, but like we angle ourselves so that a camera can fit and you can actually see things going in and out of people.
Right.
Which means that like only one of our hips are ever touching ever. We never have both hips touching each other. You know what I mean? Like we're both opened up to the direction of the viewer. And so like still feels really good, but like it immediately removes that extra level of like intimacy, which is fine.
Yeah. It's
we
so
still
fun.
find ways around. Yeah. Or like when the camera turns off, like we're like, can we just have regular sex for like 5 seconds? Like that happens a lot too. Like cameras rolling and we're like, woo, like, and it feels good and we're like showing you and everything. And then the camera turns off and we just like smash our bodies together.
We're
like, come here. I need more.
That's funny.
Both hips, please.
I like to ask my guests about a sexual bucket list scenario that they haven't had that maybe they'd like to have.
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I've done everything.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, because like off camera too, like I've done a lot of stuff. Like, shoot. Yeah, that's a really difficult question for me because like every time I'm the type of person that every time I have an idea of something I haven't done and I think it would be fun to experience, like I go out and do it within the week.
Gotcha. Okay, I know we've already talked for a while, but I really feel like we have even barely talked about your sex. Like, I really, like, as I asked you this, I'm like, well, you've probably been in like gangbangs. I mean, you're talking about somebody pissing in your mouth. I didn't get to hear about any of this stuff. Do you want to pick a story or two that like of something crazy that you would like to share with people about how you've pushed your boundaries? Or
yes, I
will.
How
do we do that? Yeah, but I feel like we've talked about so much and nothing at all.
Yeah, I've just done so much. It's hard to like.
I know,
and
but the stuff we've talked about has been very. No, you haven't been.
Yeah, so. Let's see.
Yeah, if I'm not going to get a bucket list scenario, I want a really deep, dark story.
Yeah. Ooh, I know. So before I got into porn, the way that I really figured out I like people watching me have sex was I would go to swingers clubs. And with a partner, like I've always been very overly careful with sex. Like I don't make bad decisions. So I would go with somebody that I knew and only have sex with that person. Usually there was one time that we had a like impromptu gangbang, which was awesome, or orgy, which was awesome. But like we'd go to the sex club and like there was all these people just like banging in the same room and like swinging and just like for a swingers club, just normal sex, And then me and this guy were just like, let's fuck. And like just went in the middle of the room and I just like rode him for probably an hour. And I was just so loud and obnoxious. And like everyone stopped having sex and were just watching us. And they were like, oh my God. And we went to this club so much and it had a like dress code. Like you're supposed to show up in a suit and a dress and like be respectable humans. And we'd show up in like, he'd be wearing a leather jacket and like a cutoff t-shirt. And I'd be wearing like some stupid shirt that said like sinner. I wore one that said Satan is my daddy one night and they would just let us in because they were like, you guys are crowd pleasers. Like we don't care, we went there like every weekend. So we would do stuff like that, which was really cool. What else have I done? I really like public sex. Like really, it's bad. I have to be careful. But like, my ex was, he was an entertainer of other sorts. And, we were at one of his things and like, he gets nervous boners, which I think is really cute. Like he would,
your boner is so cute.
Yeah, it was just like he would get nervous and get a boner, and I would just like fuck with him and like play with it over his pants. And he'd be like, "You have to stop. I have to go on stage." And I'm like, "Go on stage with a boner." Like, and so then like occasionally, if he had enough time, we'd like run outside, and we had sex in an alleyway one time, and like, we would like hear cars and be like, "Shit," and like, I would like wear like dresses on purpose so we could just have sex anywhere. Or like pull over on the side of the road and just like bang on the side of the highway, like outside of the car. Awesome. Yeah. What else have I done? I like getting peed on, which every time I date someone, I'm like, you could pee on me. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, you totally could. And like,
do they always want to, or do they try it for fun?
They'll try it for fun. They'll be like, okay, like whatever.
What do you like about it?
It's just exciting. Like my favorite type of sex is like very random, unplanned sex. So like, even if it was at home, there was a few times it happened, which was awesome, that I was like at home, like camming, and I would just get a text like, you better sign off in the next 5 minutes. And I'd be like, huh? And then he'd like rush home on his lunch break and just like, it was so hot. Like he came home, had sex with me, and came all over me, and then didn't even say bye or anything, and just got up and left, and then texted me and was like, clean yourself up. And I was just like, oh, that's so hot. Like, because I didn't know it was coming. It wasn't like, okay, like let's lay down and go to sleep and then have sex, and then, which is also great. But it's like what I said earlier. Like, I just think like being a human is the most interesting thing that'll ever happen to me. And so I want to experience every experience that I can as a human, whether it's like loving sex in bed before we go to sleep, or if it's like you come home at 11 and have sex with me on your lunch break and then leave.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I really want to thank you for being so open, and it's been really cool to hear about someone that was like so young and just connected like to like an extreme part of their sexuality from like such a really young age. And I just like love when people talk so openly about it, because I think people don't really realize how many people connect with what they're going through, because people have always been so scared to open up and stuff about it.
Yeah, I was terrified of sex, actually, until I was 18 and met that guy who introduced me to BDSM. Like, terrified of sex, like, had to have the lights off, like, would just give you a blowjob to not have sex with you, like, really, really sexually disconnected. And then I found that, and it, like, helped a lot. And then, like, still, until I went to the swingers club. Like I was still uncomfortable with sex, and then I would go to the swingers club, and being watched helped me a lot. And like that partner of mine like opened up my sexuality a lot. And then like porn, like I'm still really shy with like starting sex. Like I said, it helps when a director's like, have sex now, you know?
Yeah.
And so like having the lights on, having a crew there, like having a camera there, and like for me actually takes the pressure off, where now like I'm performing, you know what I mean? And if it doesn't feel good, or if I do something weird, I can just be like, well, I'm sorry. I was trying to show the camera what was happening. You know what I mean? Like, like there's like a scapegoat of like, well, the director told me to do it this way. And it helped a lot. And now in like regular life, I'm not as afraid of sex anymore. You know, I'm not like perfect, and I didn't like just appear and be like sexually liberated. Like there were so many things that had to happen to show me that like there's nothing wrong with sex, and there's nothing wrong with like doing it wrong. Like I tell jokes while I'm having sex now, or like, you know, like it's a combination of every single person that I've interacted with, like guiding me there. You know what I mean? Like someone listening to this who's like, well, I'm afraid of sex. Like, how do I get there? Like, you just keep trying.
Yeah. And try new scenarios, I guess, or new ways to see where you're comfortable. Well, why don't you tell me and the people listening your Instagram, like Twitter, where people can find these like really sexy videos of yours, like where we can find you.
I have so much. Okay, so my Instagram is at Rocky Emerson. I also have a backup. It's official trash baby. And then my Twitter is at Rocky Emerson XXX. I have a ManyVids. I have an OnlyFans. I have a Snapchat on FanCentro. And then I also have a Pornhub, which I am starting to add way more to. And everyone should follow me on Pornhub because I want a Pornhub jacket.
So on Pornhub, you would just search Rocky Emerson?
Mm-hmm. I have a model page and a porn star page that I upload my own videos to.
Okay.
There's a really awesome blowjob scene with Mickey Maud. I really love this video, and I'm sad it hasn't gotten a lot of attention. So I'm just going to give Mickey Maud the plug real quick. It's called Spanking, Punishment, Face Fucking, Spit, and Facial. Such a creative porn title. But it's with Mickey Maud, and it's like when I was like super brand new, and it's awesome, and my makeup is just running down my face, and like it's like a really rough, like super hot blowjob scene, and like he like punches me and slaps me a bunch before.
Okay, well, I'm glad to know now that how much you really like it, because sometimes I try watching stuff like that a little bit, but it's like, you know, I can't tell if they like it, so it's a little scary, you know?
Yeah. The best way to know that is like if you go to the performers' personal pages, like not that I don't support the porn companies, because that's how, you know, I love making professional porn. It is my favorite. But if you're ever like, does this girl actually like it? You can always look at their personal Pornhub or their personal OnlyFans, and like the stuff that they own. Like I own the content on my Pornhub, you know? And so it's like, I own it, which means that I purposefully made it, and it wasn't for a paycheck. It was literally because I wanted to film that. And then you can be like, oh, she is super into it. So then when you see me on like Burning Angel or Hook Up Hotshot or whatever, you're like, I know that she likes this because she does it on her own. Like she didn't just show up because these people offered her money. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool. And you get it, and Pornhub will send you a jacket if you get enough followers?
If I get 50,000 subscribers on Pornhub, I get a varsity jacket, and they're awesome, and I want one so bad.
That's hilarious. You get like a letter jacket for porn. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
PH on it, and then there's like a patch that says like 50K, and then when you hit 100K, you get another patch, and like.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so everyone go to Pornhub and follow Rocky Emerson.
Yes.
Okay. Done. All 30 of my listeners will do that. I'm just kidding. I think I have a little bit more now.
That's awesome.
It's getting there. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I've had so much fun talking to you.
Thanks.
I've learned about you, and I've learned a little bit about myself.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. But yes, let's stay in touch. And I wish you like so much luck and happiness and travels and loving sex and really hardcore sex.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Rocky.
Bye.
Bye. I love that woman. Go support her. Follow her on her Pornhub. Let's get her a letter jacket. She is Rocky Emerson. You can find her most places, and there are links in the show notes. She is living her best, most authentic life, and who can be mad at that? Go, Rocky. You're the shit. Thank you guys so much for being here. So happy to make this show for you. Continue to tell your friends about me. Rate, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, or go to InterestingSexPodcast.com and let me know about your sex. Do you want to be on the show? I want to have an interview with you. Let's take a quick moment to just appreciate the fact that we live in a place and in a time that we can have sex with who and how we want to. And let's send our love out to those who don't. Human sex trafficking is one of the worst things that I can imagine. And that there are children out there who never get the choice of their own and are just traded from the time they are very young. 10% of any profits from Interesting Sex Podcast will go to help stop sex and human trafficking. Thank you guys so much for your support. I love you all very dearly. And if you were closer and I knew you in real life, I'd love you even more dearly. I'm so dumb. Can't wait to see you next Tuesday to find out what the pussy drags in. Thank you to the band 41 for this awesome song, 41music.net.
Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. I mean a doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doo. Yeah!